Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and today we are talking about how to close B2B service deals at a 50% or higher rate in 2023. And this is a very important video because obviously, it's all well and good to get leads, but it's not worth a whole lot if we can't close these leads. So this is just going to be a basic overview of how to do it. And in terms of context for me, I am a former sales rep, plus I run a sales and marketing company. So this is pretty much my bread and butter. This is what I do. You can pause the screen and look at some testimonials there. But basically who this is for is founders who have a great product, but they can't really convert it at the rate that they should be. So you can probably close at a higher rate, but for some reason, whatever it is, it's just not happening. So you probably want to kill a sales team that has those deals flying through the door every single day, but they're just not delivering because you want to focus on products. You're the type of person that's a product person, and you're probably really good at what you do, and you want to build a really big business, but obviously that can't happen if the sales team is selling the bag. So you also, I wouldn't be surprised if you hate agencies or internet businesses, because a lot of the time what these people do is promise the world but never deliver anything, and most of the time it's not even applicable to your niche. So because of this, you have a sneaking suspicion that there might be a better way to run your sales department, but it's just so happens that you haven't really landed on a game-changing thing yet. And basically, what you've probably found yourself already is that closing deals in 2023 is very, very different than a few years ago, because sales friction is through the roof. People just want the info. They don't really want to be objection handled. They don't want to be, they don't want pushy like sales reps that are saying, oh, what made you come to the call? Why do you need to talk to your partner? Why do you need to think about it? They don't really like the enthusiasm that a lot of sales reps show. And the reason that this is happening is because everyone has been sold to before. They're sort of getting how things work. They've been tricked before. They've been closed by someone before. And they're understanding that, a lot of this stuff is just not legit. It's just not real. It's all sort of a fugazi where someone's taken a Jordan Belfort course and all of a sudden they turn into Jonah Hill, like we sort of outlined here. So this is a trajectory we're looking for. You're some bum closing, then you shake Jordan Belfort's hand, and then you become rich. That's what we're looking to do here. So how do you fix this? The three things, the very, very basic things that I want you to focus on when you're closing these deals in 2023 is frames, positioning, and process. So these are easily the three areas of the highest leverage, apart from the exact scripts that you're using, that you can focus on. So in terms of frame, what you need to do is build a legitimate frame. So this is a sense that you don't need anything from anyone, and your default state is that what you say is true. You have a certain confidence about you, and you have a real sense of security that what you're doing and what you're selling is extremely good and extremely high level. Because across your journey, there are going to be a lot of people who condescend you, they challenge you, they're going to try and talk shit to you or whatever it may be. They're not going to believe in what you have, obviously, because you might be on the younger side, you might be an entrepreneur, you might be whatever it may be. You've got a chip on your shoulder, and they're sort of playing into that, and they're trying to make you feel insecure almost. So I'm sure you would have experienced this typically if you're someone who has been on a sales call before, or you've seen someone who's done it where they completely lack frame, and the prospect ends up determining the entire track of the conversation. They might say something like, as soon as they get on the call, they're asking what you do, they're asking why you emailed them, why you cold called them, or whatever it may be, and then the prospect ends up asking lots of questions. Your sales process gets thrown off, and then that sort of leaves you feeling pretty stupid, and then you basically never close deals because the prospects don't respect you. However, you might have also seen people who can do this properly, and they can hold their ground a bit more. They close more deals. They might be the best sales rep. And then even when they don't close, they actually end up leaving sales conversations with dignity intact. So they didn't turn into, a little puppy dog, a little baby, where they're just trying to get desperate and they're saying, oh, no, please, Mr. Prospect, please buy my stuff. I hope you do. We can give you this discount. We can do all this stuff for you. Please. And they get desperate. So if you're doing that, number one, you're never going to get respected. Number two, you're never going to get the benefits of the respect. So that means you're never going to, that prospect's never going to come back and wheel back around and say, hey, I remember that sales rep who was really good. I'm going to go back to him, shoot him a referral, or, there's a lot of benefits that can come from that. So an example of this is in Good Will Hunting. So you would have seen that the blonde dude had the frame hard when he was talking to Ben Affleck. He was sort of, you're pretty dumb, or you didn't go to college, you're so stupid, whatever it may be. And then Matt Damon comes in and says, actually, you're pretty stupid because all you do is read from a textbook and you think you're smart. So all of a sudden, he sort of got the edge. His view of the world is the one that gets to stand. And then he ends up getting the girl's number, which obviously iconic scene. And he says, how do you like them apples? Classic. So, If you haven't seen that movie, go back and watch that movie, and you can sort of look at that scene and figure out what's going on with the frames. So the frame is basically whose view of the world gets to stand. Who is the person that is deemed as the expert? Who's sort of the smarter person in that situation? So obviously in this scenario, you don't really want to turn into a Karen. You're not going to come into the call and say, and when they say, well, what do you do? And you say, oh, well, no, I'm not going to tell you what I do. I'm going to be all mysterious and stuff. Because there is a real thing that when someone's new to the call, you have to show them and have some finesse about you that, you are worth talking to, and you should, you're worthy of this respect, and you're worthy of this status that you're allocating to yourself. And this is not something you can manufacture from thin air. You're going to need build a genuine confidence in the product and have a genuine abundance mindset. And you're also going to need to have a product that is worth selling. So an easy way to build this is just with case studies. So if you have a great product, and the product you're selling is awesome, and you've got a lot of proven results, it's going to be really easy to do this. But there are also other ways that we'll talk about in a second. But you almost do want to turn this up too much to build that base level, because it's much easier to put it away or, turn it down than to manufacture it. So focus on manufacturing this first, and then you can sort of turn it down later. So how to build frame? You want to be above room temperature IQ. So this is an impossible challenge. Be above room temperature IQ. Please be above room temperature IQ. Number 2, social awareness and intuition. Number 3, maximum conviction in any beliefs. Number 4, you want to be slightly confrontational. So you don't want to be those types of people where, if someone kind of walks all over you and, whatever they say goes. If you're one of those people, you're probably going to need to, bump up your confrontational nature. So, when someone does challenge you, you can challenge them back. Or, if you do need to challenge the beliefs of the prospects, then you can do so. And then you're also going to want to release any care of what people think. Obviously, very important in sales, you're going to get told no a lot. You're going to get people that are disrespecting you a lot. And you just kind of have to operate independently of that rather than turning into this guy over here on the right. Not me, I'm talking about Patrick, but this guy as well. So in terms of the scripts that you're going to want to use at the start of the call, you want to do a little bit of chit chat, not too much. Obviously, some people say don't do any, some people say do a lot. I'm sort of in the middle. I'm saying, just one quick question. Hey, how's it going? Whereabouts are you based? Is it still a good time to chat? Okay, cool. So basically the whole goal of today's call is just, I'm just going to talk, learn a little bit more about your business and exactly what you offer. And then basically just make sure that we can help you and essentially decide if you'll be able to make more working with us, or if it's just a complete waste of time to even be talking. Does that sound good? That's an easy one. Or you can just go, okay, cool. So basically the way I work is I typically just want to know a bit more about you and your business and, what's going right, what's going wrong. And first off, just see if it's a good fit for us, to even have a conversation. And then based on that, what we do at our company is basically tailor a strategy directly for the specific needs that you have. Or, we can pass you off to a referral partner if it's the case where, you might be better suited elsewhere. It's just an easy thing to do. You can just sort of throw that out there and say, this is how we operate. And, this is the way it works. And then you might even get challenged back on that where they say, how about you tell us what you do? And in that case, there's one very special thing that you need to do, which I'll talk about at the end. It's very, very process-based, very process-based. So we'll talk about this later. We'll loop back. The second thing is the positioning. So this part happens before the call even starts. And this is about where your offer is within the market. So are we talking about a commoditized offer? Are we talking about something that's the best in the market? Are we talking about something that's a different product that's new? Are we talking about a new mechanism? Do we have these things to lean on? And we need to know all these things because there needs to be an edge. For you to be able to close at a really high rate and get calls booked at a really high rate, you need to build a product that has that, demand. They need to have that real hot desire that only comes by being either the best or being different. So if you can't be the best, at least be different. And that's very, very key. And I talk a lot about that in my other market research video. So you should watch that on the channel. So the way that you do this is by basically listening to the prospects very clearly on calls and then relaying that information to whoever is developing the product. So the market, when they're on these calls, is going to tell you what it wants. Because you're obviously going through your discovery process and asking things like, what are you looking for? What's worked before? What hasn't worked? Et cetera, et cetera. Why didn't that work? And then you're going to continually mold the product into something that the market wants. And then you sell them what they want. It makes a lot of sense. And it's a very, very simple process. All you have to do is provide what they want, which sounds stupid, but like, what's the major problem that's going on in the market? Deliver that solution, and you're going to be able to sell very, very effectively. Again, I talk a lot about this in my market research video, which you can find on my channel. So go check that out. In terms of the process, this is what I was talking about before. So prospects don't want to come to the call without knowing what you do. A lot of higher level prospects are not going to waste their time on the call. They don't want to be talking to a salesperson. They don't really like being on calls. They're sort of sick of Zoom. They've been through the COVID thing. They've been on probably a million Zoom calls before. What you need to do is be using sales assets to warm up the prospects. So this is a video sales letter. This is a DQ PDF, and a bunch of other stuff. This is case studies. This is theses. This is YouTube videos. This is social media profiles, etc., etc. Otherwise, they're just going to come to the call thinking you're a random, and then it's no secret that they're going to be they're not going to close because they don't know you, they don't trust you. They're going to say they need to think about it. They need to check with their pet hamster before they close. Obviously, because you're just a random dude. Why would they trust you? You're a sleazy salesperson. Obviously, in terms of what it actually looks like to get that done. Hold on, this is the wrong one. Let me pull up the right one. Yeah. So in terms of actually getting that done, what you want to do is as soon as the lead books into your calendar, you want to acknowledge that lead with a personalized loom with a call to action to the video sales letter, which includes case studies and info. So you want to make a one big asset where they can go there, see information about your company, see who you've worked with, see the type of prospects you've worked with, and be sold on basically the offer before they even get to the call. This is very, very important that this happens. Very important. And you're sending them a video of literally you talking. You might screen share their website and say, hey, I was just going through your website, taking a look, doing a bit of research on you guys, blah, 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 do some personalized stuff as well and just sort of talk about their offer. And then you say, hey, if you want any more additional information about us and what we do, the types of companies we work with and the types of results that we've driven, you can say, click on the link up the top right of this video and I will, attach a document where you can go and find that. So on Loom, you can actually attach links up to the top right, and that's what you want to do. Then 24 hours before the call, you want to send them another text saying, hey, looking forward to our call in 24 hours. Just a reminder to check out this document, which is the sales letter. And then 8 hours before, you say, hey, just a reminder to check out this document again, if you haven't already, and that's got all the information about us. Then 4 hours before the call, you're outlining, who it's for. You're doing rough pricing and DQing prospects. So you don't want to waste anyone's time. This is very, very clear. It's just a one-page document outlining, who this is going to be a good fit for, who it's not going to be a good fit for. So when you eventually get to the call, they're either going to show up and, most likely close at this point, because if they've been all through this stuff, they're going to be very, very warm, or they're probably not going to show up. And in which case they've either not consumed the assets or they just weren't a good fit and decided that it probably was not worth wasting everyone's time. So once you go through this, your close rate is going to skyrocket because number one, a lot of calls are going to get DQ'd. Number two, a lot of the people are going to have what's called a PreCall Epiphany that they should buy. So what's happening here where they need to think about it, the first time they ever experience demand for the product, where they might want the product, is when they're on the call. This obviously increases friction. So what you need to do is make that happen before the call. So by the time they actually get to the call, it's buying time. It's not thinking time. That's very important. So if you want any more information about this, if you want more resources, if you want this PowerPoint, etc., if you want live calls and one-to-one access to me, what you can do is go to school.com/Sophron. The link is going to be in the description. You can go to that group and join up, and you'll get a bit more resources from me. And other than that, that's about all I have for you. And peace out. Have a lovely day.